Hi, my name is Ni. Today I'm going to present how I wrote a plugin and a wizard for Nagios XI. So the first thing I did was check to see which languages are most used for writing a plugin. And I found that most people use either Bash or Python to write one. So I chose Bash to do it just because I thought it might be easier. And for my plugin idea, I decided to try a plugin that check for the response time of either a website or a device with an IP address. And I thought it was an original, like semi-original idea that I had, because I checked the plugin library files and I didn't see anyone doing that, so I thought I might try it. And why did I choose response time? Because I thought it could gauge the performance of the system very easily, and it can be also used to improve like user experience and identify problems like network latency and high server loads. And also it can like quickly go and check if the device or website is up or down. So I wanted to do that. And the next thing I did was to structure my script to organize it in a way that I can visualize it, what it's going to take in, or like what input argument is going to take in and what it's going to return. So I wanted to take in IP address or URL, the warning threshold, and the critical threshold, and I want to return the response time that it takes for the device or the website to connect. So for writing the script, I did it in the Nagios XI command line. So the first thing, if someone is gonna write it in Nagios XI, you first need to go to this directory, user local, and then Nagios, and then inside the libx directory, you would need to create a new file for your script. So I do that by using nano, and then you can name your plugin whatever you want, and then you would need to identify the type of your file using such as .sh or .py if you're using Python. And I'm gonna show you my plugin. So the first thing I did was set up the exit codes. So for OK, it's gonna be 0, like how they documented in the Nagios documentation, XI documentation. Warning is for 1, and critical is for 2, and unknown is for 3. Afterwards, I wanted to initialize my variables like host names, host address, or like for IP address or URL, and then the warning threshold and critical threshold. Afterwards, I parsed the arguments and made it in a way so that in whatever orders it takes the argument in, it's go to like the assigned variable. So if you just type in .h and then put the value in, it's going to go into the host variable. If you type in like -w, it's going to go into the warning variable. The next thing I did is to validate the argument so that none of the input arguments are empty or null. So that is what I did. And afterwards, I make sure that the HTTPS header for the URL is not gonna be in the script, because for some reason I couldn't figure out why, but it stopped working when I type in the whole HTTPS. And so I stripped that off, and then I just check to see if the string has .com, .org, or .net, or .edu, if it's a URL. And then if it's one of them, I start the clock. And format it in a way that it's converted to milliseconds. And then I go and connect to the website using this car command that I found online. Afterwards, I check to see if it does connect or not, and if it does, I will end the time and go to the next section. So this is the same thing that I did for the devices with IP address. For IP address, I just start the time and then ping the device to see if it's gonna ping or not, if it's up or not. Afterwards, I calculate the response time by just subtracting the end time at the end and then the start time before it to get the difference. And I go and check to see if like it's greater than the critical threshold or the warning threshold, so that I can output the appropriate exit codes. So that was my bash script. Afterward, you can go out by just doing Control X, and then you can go to Nagios XI and add your script or command using this. I would say go to this path. So core config management, and then go to commands. And when you click add new button, you can type in your command, the name of your command and the command line that you're gonna put in to run the script. Afterward, you can save it, and then you can check to see if your command line or if your plugin works or not by just going to an existing host, and then you can check to see if your command line is, or like the plugin is here. And check local. As you can see, this is my plugin. So and then I can do -w 5,000 for like 5 seconds, and then -c 10,000 for like 10 seconds. And before saving, I would recommend running the check command to see if it's actually worked or not. And as you can see, it returns with OK, and the response time for like going and connecting to the Stack Overflow web page. And then you can save and apply configurations so that it actually apply the service or the plugins to your host. Afterwards, before that, if one thing that I would recommend other people to know is that if you're writing in Bash, you would probably, if you want to develop a wizard in the future, you would probably want to gain that file and store it in your laptop. So one thing that you will need to know is to have a shared folder between your VM and your actual laptop. So you can do that by just going into the VM settings, and under the options, you can fill in the path to the share folder in your laptop. And then you would need to restart your XI VM, and then create a target folder in the VM as well after you restart it. And then you would need to run this line inside your command line in the XI VM. And then you can simply copy to your targeted folder in the share folder to extract the file from your VM to your laptop. So afterward, I wrote a wizard for my plugins. I think what I consider is the purpose of the wizard is to simplify the process and to save time, so that user doesn't need to actually go into the command line and run the script. And for the file structure, as I analyze it, it's mostly just these full files, or like the 3 folders and 1 file, I would say. It's usually contain plugins, logos, the templates or the config files inside it, and the wizard name .inc.php. And I believe you always have to name your PHP file with the .inc if you want to run your wizard. So I wrote my wizard in Visual Studio Code, and first I look at a example existing wizard, which is FTP as server wizard, and I kind of copied the code and just changed the my metadata, like the name of my wizard and some descriptions that I kind of changed to fit my wizard, as well as the name of the function itself from like FTPS server to response time. And then the function itself just like generate HTML inside the wizard and validate the data. So I kind of changed the code to fit my wizard. So for the first step, I just wanted to ask the user to type in the host address, like IP address or URL. So I just kind of copied the HTML file and then change it so that it just have a input box that says to like input the host address or URL, and then I will validate the input arguments inside the inc.php file in the first stage right here to see if it's empty or not. Afterwards, it would like the wizard code would generate the second step, which in that step I made sure that the user entered a host name as well as the warning thresholds and the critical thresholds, so that it also create a host, not just add the service. Afterwards, all I needed to do was just go and configure the object to have the appropriate host name, host address, and the command line is gonna run. And I can show you how my wizard works in XI, as I've already imported it. But for someone who might just want to upload or install, you can go to admin and then go to system extension, and then you can say manage config wizard, and you can create a zip file for your wizard and just browse your laptop, and you can just upload it and it will install it automatically. Afterwards, you can check if your wizard really works or not by just going to configuration wizard, and then so this is my wizard. You can search your wizard name and it will probably show up if it works. And then I'm gonna write a example website, and then I can change the name to be something like demo 1, and then I can create any thresholds I want, for example like 4,000 or 40,000 or something like this. And then afterwards, these steps are like already built into every wizard for Nagios XI, so I didn't need to change any of them. So for this purpose, I'm gonna just type input 1 so that it kind of like monitor it fast, and then I'll just finish with defaults from here. As you can see, it's gonna take a little while to verify if it works or not, and then you can actually check the status to see if it works or not by clicking here. And as you can see, it does output what I intended to do by just giving you the response time in milliseconds. So that was my demo for creating a plugin in Wizard. I hope it's good. Thank you so much.